I'd like to welcome all of you to the Export Development Canada and the Forum for International Trade Training presentation. Today's presentation focuses on developing and executing effective international market entry strategies. My name is Emiliano Introcaso, and I am a certified international trade professional with FIT. As an international business advisor at Export Development Canada, I help exporters solve export problems so that they can take on the world. Export Development Canada is Canada's export credit agency, and our mission is simple. That's to help Canadian companies to go, grow, and succeed in markets all around the world. As international risk experts, EDC is here to help guide Canadian businesses during these exceptional times. This is why we exist, to offer expert advice as well as insurance and financial support, in both good times and bad. Since 1944, we have been experts in international trade, and the current global uncertainty has made our job clearer than ever. We have helped Canadian companies overcome similar economic challenges in the past. During the 2008 financial crisis, EDC was there to help provide the liquidity and the support to help Canadian exporters weather those difficult times. In the context of COVID-19 pandemic, our mandate has been broadened to assist domestic businesses through these challenging times. We help companies of all sizes, industries, and sectors. We support the very large and the very small companies. We support traditional exporters, those that are the ones that ship boxes across borders, but we also support service providers that do not ship anywhere, but they do get paid by clients in the US, in Europe, or in Asia. We also support companies who do not have international clients at all, but they are part of the global supply chain. In response to COVID-19, the Government of Canada has temporarily expanded EDC's mandate, allowing us to support all Canadian businesses during this challenging time, whether they are selling internationally or within Canada until the end of 2021. At EDC, we are the international risk experts because in 75 years of serving as Canada's export credit agency, we have accumulated a ton of expertise in financial management, risk management, and transactional know-how to operate our own businesses so we can be successful ourselves. Our expertise allows us to take on the risk so that you can take on the world. Earlier in your journey, you'll find that our knowledge solutions will help you make informed business decisions. We have a variety of publications, tools, webinars, international trade training, and free trade advisory service to help guide you. Then, when you have your first international sale, we can help make sure you get paid with our insurance solutions. And as your business matures, we can also work with a commercial banker to help you access capital. And finally, we have a large network both national and internationally when we can help make connections to help you grow. The vast majority of you are in your early stages, and that knowledge is key to get you started on the right path. Let me tell you a bit more about one of our knowledge solutions, the EDC FIT International Trade Training. Over the years, we heard from companies that they needed current practical knowledge and training specialized in international trade. Training designed by businessmen and women for businessmen and women. And we had a long-standing relationship with the Forum for International Trade Training, or FIT for short, and we knew that the curriculum was best in class. Back in 2017, we invested in a partnership with FIT to offer online training that touches on a wide number of elements that you must know and be prepared when you start doing business in markets around the world. Topics in the curriculum go from feasibility of international trade to how to adapt your products or services for international markets, to risks to be aware and mitigate when you sell outside of Canada, to international entry strategies and marketing, which we'll discuss later today, and so much more. EDC and FIT's goals is to help you with the best practical knowledge so that you can succeed on international markets. And now let's learn from the FIT curriculum. And the content portions of these workshops are featured in the FIT Skills courses for international market entry strategies and the international sales and marketing. During the presentation, you're going to be learning what the companies will need to know in order to ensure the success of new ventures. Also, how to research and analyze the market entry options and select the most effective strategy for your needs. And lastly, how to implement and manage your entry strategy to build a long-term success in your new markets. So a company has to choose from a variety of specific strategies to enter a new market. And this could include strategies such as direct exporting, indirect exporting, maybe transfer related type of strategy, or even like a foreign direct investment strategy. Now, choosing the right strategy will enable the organization to clarify the specific actions they have to take. They will also be able to identify potential problems and also determine the cost that it will be involved. Now, before doing any selection of the market entry strategy, the organization has to conduct due diligence by assessing the feasibility of international ventures that they're looking to take. And this will involve to research, to analyze the different factors. And here you have a list of specific points that the company will go through in order to assess their organizational readiness for an international trade venture. So if we look at, for example, human resources, do I have enough people or the right people in my team that can allow me to move into this next phase of my company? Do I have the cultural competence to be able to deal with a particular market? Now, these are gaps that sometimes companies will find. And I always tell them, if you do find these gaps, that's a good thing, because there's nothing worse to go into this new international trade venture and then encounter these gaps when you're actually trying to enter a market. That could be very costly. So in order for companies to avoid those extra costs, it is important to conduct a specific target market research. Here you have the process, the different steps. I'll talk about one of those. Very, very important to define the specific problem, looking at the potential opportunity that is driving this particular research. Make sure you're outlining the parameters and planning the research. Very, very important to screen the specific market. Have companies that come in with 20 markets that they want to go into. It's not reasonable to go to 20 markets all at once. Yes, you can go to 20 markets in the future, but as you go, you got to go one by one, or maybe you start with 2 markets. But ideally, what you want to do is make sure that this helps you focus, right, that particular research for that product or service you're trying to provide. So as you're looking for collecting the primary data, also looking at secondary resources, all the different steps that are going to help you communicate that specific information to those decision makers and stakeholders within your company. So as you build that knowledge that you've gained from that research, and also that internal assessments you've probably conducted throughout the process, you're going to find that there are going to be a lot of risk that may come up with, and analyzing those risks will help you also mitigate them. So if you have not enough employees, let's say, that can help you with a particular area of business, let's say the logistics area, then that is a risk that you may have in your personnel. If you are looking at dealing with a particular customer that you haven't done the correct due diligence, then there might be commercial risk. If you have technology that you haven't patented, or that is a specific intellectual property that is not covered in a particular market, that is an intellectual property risk. So this specific risk are areas where your company might need to really understand what they're going to be doing when going overseas. So as you continue assessing the feasibility, conducting cost analysis is going to be a critical step for a company. They will have to generate a number of cost analysis based on different assumptions. They will have to include different ways of entering a market and the different strategies, and this will help them determine how to proceed with the venture. Also, organizations may have to enter a market where they might encounter specific obstacles or barriers, and this type of conditions will make that market entry a lot more challenging and potentially more expensive. So without the full understanding of the different type of market entry barriers, some organizations will probably enter in a particular market, or will use maybe an ineffective market entry strategy. And so researching and looking at the risk that you've completed in the previous step, is hopefully a way of really mitigating all those risks and really understanding that potential market you're going into. So in the next slide, you're going to see how to best understand the different market entry strategies that are available. So in order to succeed in international trade, a company must carefully plan the where, when, and how to enter the market. And obviously, you can see in this particular slide that there are many methods that an organization can use to enter a new market, and they are classified in two main groups. One of them is the trading strategies, and the other one is the investing strategies. So in many cases, companies decide to take a direct exporting strategy, which is one of the ones that, you as a company decide to go and sell your goods or your service directly to the foreign buyer. And in this case, sometimes you may use a wholesaler or distributor in that particular market to enter the market, but basically you're selling directly to them. As an example, if you were to choose an agent as one of the direct type of entry into a country, you'll have to look at the advantages and the disadvantages. And here you have the specifics. So let's talk about the advantage. The agent is already set up. They probably already have potential clients for your products, and they is basically the best way for you to increase sales almost immediately. There are disadvantages, obviously, because sometimes agents will also sell for other exporters as well. If you were to deal with a distributor, for example, one of the advantages is that they will be doing all the promotion and the delivery and the marketing of the goods, and this actually helps us reduce a lot of the risk. We may not have a specific control over the pricing and the promotion, but at least we're selling directly to a company or a distribution company that is taking care of our sales and will distribute on our behalf. And here you have the main advantages and disadvantages of direct exporting. And so let's take a look at the advantages, right? You could withdraw from that market whenever you want. You don't have to really do much. You just simply do not sell to that market anymore and you're done. But one of the disadvantages as well will be that if you have different agents or distributors, they might not be representing you properly there. And so that also could affect how you develop in that market. In retrospective, direct exporting can be very successful if you selected the market that is already accessible and maybe has similar regulations and customs to the specific country you're in. If the target market has different regulations or legal systems and culture, or there are other ways of conducting businesses, and your company's inexperienced in international trade, then the direct exporting might be very difficult and risky. And in this type of situations, an organization should consider another strategy. So depending on the market selected, the distances also might be a problem. So goods have to be transported, and depending on the means of transportation, that direct export can take or make your goods much more expensive. And then this may also impact your profits that you're going to make in that market. The alternative trading entry strategy to direct exporting is indirect exporting. And when you're doing an indirect exporting, you're using from within your own market a potential intermediary that is already established in that foreign market that is going to help you sell those products there. However, you have no control of how those products are sold in that foreign market. Instead, you are selling domestically. And then the intermediary is going to take all the responsibility of finding those buyers and making sure that all those different routes of distribution are established, as well as obtaining the payments in the foreign market. If your strategy in the end is to develop that long-term market share, then indirect exporting will not be the suitable strategy for your company. But if you are a very small company and you're not really caring about the long-term strategy, then this will probably help you increase profits quicker. So moving on to e-commerce, which allows buying and selling of goods through a marketplace or a virtual store. This is where you have maybe your website and you're selling those products or services domestically or also internationally. And this might include a specific shopping cart or different payment options. You may also integrate it with different technologies, such as an enterprise resource planning system that can enable the connectivity between the suppliers and the buyers through an international supply chain. And then we need to look at the benefits of e-commerce. And it's very low risk, low cost, specifically to set up a site. If you're setting up a Shopify site or an Amazon Marketplace site, it's quite easy to do. Very easy also to exit if you do not want that business anymore, right? So a lot of the things that you could do with an e-commerce site is, if you're working with different partners, is ensuring that the information flows properly so that you are lowering your costs of, let's say, customer service, for example. But as easy as to make money with an e-commerce site, there are also a lot of challenges that are specific to e-commerce. And just think about like the theft of customer information, or if your systems go down, nobody can actually access your site to purchase. So there's quite a challenge sometimes with an e-commerce site, because there's a lot of sensitive information that could be stolen, and you don't want to be in that scenario of having your customers' information stolen and then lose on your reputation. Under the investing entry strategies, we have two types. One of them is the foreign direct investment related, which is basically setting up shop there, or the transfer related, which includes, for example, licensing. And in licensing, you allowed a company to use a particular manufacturing process or a trademark product that you own, and every time they sell that particular product or they use that process, you could charge a fee or receive royalty payments on that technology you've licensed. Another one could be subcontracting, where instead of you licensing the product, you actually just subcontract your manufacturing to another party, and then they build the product there and then they ship it back to you. So that's the type of different strategies you could use. We don't have enough time to go through the foreign direct investment specific strategies, but those are more costly. They require more due diligence, and you'll have to have sometimes a lawyer involved, because there might be a lot of reviews in contracts and anything that has to do, let's say, with a merger and an acquisition of another company. But that could be another strategy to enter that market, by acquiring a company that is. So you might be wondering, wow, there's a lot of strategies. How do I really manage every single thing that I want to do so that I can have long-term success in a particular market? And for that, my answer is to build an international business plan. And this particular plan will serve as a framework that will help you identify your goals, your objectives, also select that target market, understand what clients are going to buy from you, the type of resources that you're going to need, and also the selected strategy that you decided to pursue. The plan will also allow you to monitor the progress through the different metrics you may have set up, and is very comprehensive, because this particular plan is going to integrate not only the strategies of the different business functions, but also it will include the communication side of the business, your sales and your marketing, also understanding your finances and the production. So why you want to do this is very important. It's a living document. It's going to guide your strategy forward. So the planning process is subject to adjustments and revisions. This is a living document. So once you enter that market that you plan, and you're looking to enter to a new market, you have to redevelop a new plan. Now your second plan is going to be a lot easier, because you already gone through the first one. And the same thing is going to happen when you target your third market and you select your strategy, right? You already have done 2 different plans for 2 different markets, maybe potentially 2 different strategies. Your third one will be easier and your fourth one will be easier, etc. In order to engage the audience that is going to be reading this plan, make sure that you limit the use of bullet points and the cold and technical language that sometimes companies use. Instead, try to use storytelling techniques so that the reader can actually vest themselves into that plan and understand what your company is trying to do. And once you receive these slides, you go through this particular sections where you're going to look at the different content that you need to include. It's a good checklist that you can really go through it. If you already have a plan that you've developed, maybe use the checklist to match it. If you're missing sections, then this is the time for you to go ahead and update it. So to sum it all up, ensure that you're managing that strategy. And the way you do it is by monitoring the progress, looking at your metrics that you set up in the plan, ensuring that you adjust the plan and you revise it as any circumstances will change in your company. And every time there is such a major event that will impact your business, make sure that you're looking at that plan and that you're updating it. Remember that this is going to be a living document and it's going to help your strategy and it's going to help you strategize in the future as well. I would like to invite you to sign up for the globally recognized EDC Fit online training to gain more practical skills that you can use to improve your decision making. You can use the promo code EDCFIT30 at checkout to enjoy the exclusive 30% discount when you register by December 31st, 2021. For more information, you can visit edc-fit.com and you can learn more about all the different courses that Fit has available. We hope you enjoy our presentation, and I welcome you to visit our website at edc.ca to learn more about our solutions, read our blogs, and access our articles and guides.